Jake Sullivan was a soldier. He had fought in many battles and seen strange things across the galaxy, but nothing prepared him for what stood before him now. The alien ship was huge and dark. Inside, the air felt thick and heavy. Strange lights blinked on the walls. Jake walked with his team through long metal halls that seemed to go on forever. "Stay calm," whispered Dr. Kate Morrison. She was the team's alien expert. "These creatures are warriors. They only respect strength." Captain Ron Hayes led their group. He wore his best uniform and walked like he owned the place. "I know what to do," he said. "We studied these aliens for months." But Jake felt something was wrong. The ship was too quiet, too empty. Where were all the aliens? Then they entered a massive room and Jake's breath caught in his throat. 7 aliens stood waiting for them. They were giants, nearly 8 feet tall. Their skin looked like black armor made of bone. Each one had 4 glowing red eyes and arms like tree trunks. Weapons hung from their belts that could destroy buildings. The biggest alien stood in front. Silver marks covered her armor skin like war paint. She watched the humans with eyes that missed nothing. "I am War Prime Zara," she said in broken English. Her voice sounded like grinding metal. "You are the humans who want peace." Jake noticed something odd. For all their size and weapons, the aliens seemed nervous. They stood too straight, too rigid, like soldiers trying not to show fear. Captain Hayes stepped forward. He had practiced this moment for weeks. He raised his fists and struck his chest 3 times, the alien greeting they had learned. The effect was instant and terrible. All 7 aliens jumped back. They reached for their weapons. Zara made a sound like an angry cat mixed with a steam engine. The other aliens started talking fast in their own language, pointing at the humans. "What did I do wrong?" Captain Hayes asked, his face going white. "I think you just insulted them," Kate whispered. "Or declared war, maybe both." The aliens were getting more upset by the second. Zara's 4 eyes blazed with anger. She said something sharp to her warriors. They spread out, surrounding the humans. Jake knew they were in trouble, big trouble. In a few seconds, this peaceful meeting would become a fight they could not win, so he did something no one expected. He stepped forward, past Captain Hayes, past the other humans. He raised his hands with palms open, the universal sign of peace. But more than that, he did something his training never taught him. He smiled, not a fake diplomatic smile, a real one, warm and friendly, like meeting a neighbor. "Hey there," he said to Zara, his voice gentle and calm. "I think we messed up. We're really sorry about that. Could you help us understand what we did wrong?" The change was amazing. Zara's 4 eyes went wide. She made a soft whistling sound, very different from her angry noise before. The other aliens stopped reaching for their weapons and just stared. You say sorry?" Zara asked, her voice confused. "You show weakness to enemies?" "Enemies?" Jake tilted his head. "Who said anything about enemies? We're just too different, people trying to figure each other out. That's always messy at first, right?" The big alien warrior looked at Jake like he was speaking a foreign language, which in a way he was. No one had ever talked to her like this before. "Your people prepare for war words," Zara said slowly. "Your leader makes challenge strikes, but you make soft words." "War words?" Jake laughed, but not in a mean way. "We don't want war. We want to be friends. That chest-hitting thing, we thought it was like shaking hands." Zara blinked all 4 eyes at once. Around her, the other aliens were making quiet whistling sounds and looking at each other in confusion. "Friends," Zara repeated the word like she was tasting something new. "This word, what does it mean?" Jake's heart went out to her. Here was this massive warrior, bred for battle, and she did not even know what friendship meant. "A friend is someone who cares about you," Jake explained. "Someone who wants good things for you. Someone who helps when you're in trouble. And you wish to be friends with enemies you have never met? You're only enemies if we choose to be enemies," Jake said. "I'd rather choose to be friends." Zara stood very still for a long moment. The silver marks on her armor began to change color, shifting from bright silver to a soft blue. The other aliens gasped and whispered among themselves. "Your words are strange, human Jake Sullivan," Zara said finally. "They are not war words or challenge words, they are—" "Kind words," Jake suggested. "Kind words," she repeated, testing the sound. "Yes, I think I like kind words." Captain Hayes stepped up beside Jake, looking relieved. "So we're not about to die?" Zara made that whistling sound again. Jake was starting to think it might be laughter. "No, human captain. Today no one dies. Today we try this friendship." As the tension drained from the room, Jake noticed the other aliens relaxing too. Their rigid postures softened. Some even made quiet whistling sounds of their own. It was not the first contact anyone had planned for, but maybe, Jake thought, it was exactly the first contact they all needed. "So," he said to Zara, "want to start over? I'm Jake, and I'm very happy to meet you." The blue marks on Zara's armor grew brighter. "I am Zara, and I am happy to meet you too, Jake Sullivan." Behind them, both human and alien teams watched in amazement as something new began. Not conquest or surrender, but something neither species had expected, the beginning of understanding. 5 days had passed since the first meeting. The humans and aliens were learning to live together on the big ship. It was not easy, but it was getting better. Jake spent most of his time with the aliens now. The other humans thought he was crazy, but Jake found them interesting. They were not just warriors. They were people with feelings, even if they tried hard to hide those feelings. Zara had become his unofficial guide. She showed him around the ship and explained alien customs. In return, Jake told her about human life. She listened to every word like it was treasure. "Your people are strange," Zara said one morning as they walked through the ship's corridors. "You show feelings to everyone. You smile at strangers. You touch each other without fear." "Don't you ever want to touch someone?" Jake asked. "Like a hug when you're sad?" Zara stopped walking. Her 4 eyes blinked slowly. "What is hug?" Jake almost laughed, but he saw she was serious. "A hug is when you put your arms around someone to show you care about them." "And this does not mean weakness, no," Jake said gently. "It means love." Zara's armor mark shifted to that soft blue color Jake was learning meant she was thinking hard about something new. They reached the training room where alien warriors practiced fighting. Jake had permission to watch, but he had to stay far away. Alien combat was incredibly dangerous. The training room was huge, with thick metal walls and bright lights. 6 alien warriors stood in the center, holding weapons that hummed with energy. They moved in pairs, practicing battle moves. Zara was the best fighter Jake had ever seen. She moved like water and struck like lightning. Her opponent was another, female warrior named Vera. They danced around each other, weapons clashing in showers of sparks. Jake watched in amazement. These aliens were beautiful when they fought. Every movement was perfect, controlled, deadly. Then something went wrong. Vera made a mistake. She stepped left when she should have stepped right. Zara's weapon, moving too fast to stop, caught Vera in the chest. The sound was terrible, like metal tearing. Vera flew backward and hit the wall hard enough to shake the entire room. She fell to the floor and did not get up. Green liquid, alien blood, began to pool around Vera's body. Her armor was cracked in 3 places. She tried to stand but fell back down with a pained cry. All the other warriors stopped fighting. They stood perfectly still, watching Vera struggle on the floor. No one moved to help her. Jake realized with horror what was happening. In alien culture, showing concern for the wounded meant calling them weak, and being called weak was worse than being hurt, so they just watched. 6 powerful warriors watched their friend bleed and struggle alone. Jake could not stand it. He jumped over the safety barrier and ran to Vera before anyone could stop him. Captain Hayes shouted his name, but Jake ignored him. Hey, it's okay," Jake said, dropping to his knees beside the hurt alien. "Don't try to get up yet, sweet girl. Let me help you." The words came out naturally. Jake had 3 younger sisters, back on Earth. When they got hurt, he always called them Sweet Girl in that same gentle voice. But these were not his sisters. This was a deadly alien warrior who could kill him with one hand. Vera looked up at him with wide, confused eyes. Around them, the other warriors had gone completely silent. Even the humming of their weapons stopped. Sweet Girl? Vera whispered. The word sounded strange in her metal voice, but also somehow right. Jake put one hand on her uninjured shoulder. The armor was warm under his palm. Yeah, sweet girl. You took a hard hit, but you're going to be fine. Something amazing happened. Then, Vera's armor, which had been dark gray with pain, began to change color. Soft pink spread across the metal like sunrise. Her 4 eyes, bright with tears she was not supposed to shed, looked at Jake like he was magic. I am... Sweet girl? She asked in wonder. The sweetest, Jake confirmed, helping her sit up slowly. You're hurt and scared, but you're trying to be brave. That makes you very sweet. The pink color grew brighter. Vera made a sound Jake had never heard from any alien. Before, soft and musical, like a cat purring mixed with wind chimes. Then Jake heard the same sound from across the room. He looked up to see Zara watching them, her own armor shifting to that same gentle pink. Her 4 eyes were wide with something that looked like wonder. Kind words, Zara said softly. You give kind words to the wounded. Of course I do, Jake said, still supporting Vera. She's hurt. Why would I be mean to someone who's hurt? Now all the aliens were making that musical purring sound. Their armor colors shifted and changed. Blues and pinks and soft greens that Jake had never seen before. In our culture, Zara explained, walking closer, to help the wounded is to call them weak. To accept help is to agree that you are weak. That's terrible, Jake said honestly. Everyone needs help sometimes. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. He paused. Well, you know what I mean. Vera leaned against him, her massive form surprisingly gentle. Human Jake calls me Sweet Girl, she announced to the other warriors. I am Sweet Girl. The purring sounds got louder. Jake realized he was witnessing something historic. These warriors were experiencing emotions their culture had forbidden for centuries. Sweet girl, another warrior repeated, testing the words. Kind words, said another. Help without weakness, whispered a third. Jake looked around at 6 alien warriors who were discovering that strength and gentleness could exist together. Their armor glowed with soft colors of joy and wonder. Captain Hayes appeared at the barrier looking nervous. Sullivan, you need to get out of there right now. But Jake was not afraid. He was surrounded by warriors who could kill him easily, but all he felt was warmth. They were looking at him like he had given them a gift they never knew they needed. I think, Zara said, her voice full of new understanding, that humans are teaching us something very important. What's that? Jake asked. That being strong enough to be gentle is the greatest strength of all. Vera made that musical purring sound again. Sweet girl, she said happily. I am Sweet Girl. And around them, for the first time in their history, alien warriors smiled. 2 weeks had passed since the training room incident. Everything had changed. The alien warriors were different now. They still trained hard and carried their weapons, but something soft had awakened in them. They asked Jake questions about human emotions. They wanted to understand feelings they had never been allowed to have. Jake found himself spending hours with different aliens every day. They came to him in secret, away from their leader's eyes. Each one wanted to learn about kind words and gentle touches, but it was Zara who changed the most. She visited the human ship almost every day now. Sometimes she brought other warriors with her. Sometimes she came alone. Today she sat with Jake in the observation room, watching stars drift past the big window. Tell me about families, Zara said suddenly. Her armor was soft blue. The color Jake now knew meant she was thinking about something important. What do you want to know? Jake asked. Everything. In our world, we are born in groups. We train together, we fight together, but we do not love together. Jake studied her massive form. Even sitting, she was taller than him. Her 4 eyes reflected the starlight, making them look almost gentle. Human families love each other, Jake explained. Parents love their children. Children love their parents. Brothers and sisters care for each other. Even when they are weak? Especially when they are weak. When someone you love is hurt or sad, you want to help them feel better. Zara was quiet for a long time. Her armor cycled through different shades of blue as she processed this idea. I had a sister once, she said finally. Her name was Maya. She was smaller than me, not as strong in battle. The other warriors said she was weak. What happened to her? Jake asked gently. She died in her first real fight. She was not ready, but our leader sent her anyway. They said it would make her strong. Zara's armor turned dark gray, the color of sadness. I wanted to help her train more. I wanted to protect her, but that would have been calling her weak. Jake felt his heart break for this powerful warrior who had lost her sister because their culture would not let her show love. I'm sorry, he said. That must have hurt terribly. Yes, Zara whispered. It hurt. But I could not show hurt. Warriors do not cry. Would you like to cry now? Jake asked. Zara's 4 eyes went wide. I do not know how. Jake moved closer on the bench they shared. Slowly, carefully, he reached out and took one of her massive hands in both of his. Her armor felt warm and smooth. Close your eyes, he said. Think about Maya. Think about how much you loved her. Zara's eyes closed. Her breathing grew heavy. Now, think about how she felt when she was scared. How you wanted to hold her and tell her everything would be okay. A sound escaped Zara's throat, rough and broken like a machine learning to sing. That's it, Jake said softly. Let it out, sweet girl. The endearment broke something open in Zara. The rough sound became a wail, deep and mournful, and centuries overdue. Her armor shifted to bright silver, then to gold, then to colors Jake had never seen before. She cried for Maya. She cried for all the warriors who had died alone. She cried for the children she would never have because warriors were not allowed to love. She cried for herself, for the gentleness she had buried so deep she thought it was dead. Jake held her hand through it all, offering the comfort she had never been allowed to accept. When the crying finally stopped, Zara looked at him with wonder. I am not weaker, she said, amazed. I thought crying would make me weak, but I feel stronger. That's because you let yourself feel something real, Jake said. Emotions don't make you weak. Hiding from them does. Over the following days, Zara began sharing Jake's lessons with other warriors, but she did it carefully, in secret. Not all. Aliens were ready for such big changes. One evening, as Jake was eating dinner with his human team, Captain Hayes pulled him aside. Sullivan, we have a problem. What kind of problem? The kind where alien high command thinks you're corrupting. They're warriors. They're sending a war fleet to take Zara away. Jake felt cold fear wash over him. When? Tomorrow. Maybe sooner. That night, Jake could not sleep. He kept thinking about Zara and the other warriors who were just learning to be gentle with themselves. What would happen when the war fleet arrived? Would they punish Zara for crying? Would they hurt the warriors who had asked about love? He found Zara in the ship's garden, a small room with earth plants that the humans had brought. She was sitting among the flowers, her armor soft, pink in the dim light. You know they're coming, Jake said. It was not a question. Yes. My superiors think I have been poisoned by human weakness. She touched a flower petal with one massive finger. They will take me back for reprogramming. Reprogramming? They will erase the parts of me that learned to feel. They will make me into a perfect warrior again, one who cannot cry, cannot love, cannot be anyone's sweet girl. Jake sat down beside her among the flowers. We won't let that happen. Tyrd. Can you stop a war fleet, Jake Sullivan? I don't know yet. But I know this, what you've learned about yourself isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing I've ever seen. Zara leaned against him, her armor warm against his shoulder. In the old stories of my people, warriors were more than fighters. They were protectors, guardians, keepers of peace. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that protecting means loving. Maybe it's time to remember, Jake said. They sat in silence among the flowers, watching Earth roses bloom under alien starlight. Tomorrow would bring tests neither of them was ready for. But tonight, a human and an alien sat together as friends, and that felt like a kind of victory all by itself. Jake, Zara said quietly, thank you for teaching me how to be sweet. Jake smiled in the darkness. Thank you for teaching me how to be brave. Outside, enemy ships moved through space toward them. Inside, a friendship bloomed that would soon be tested by forces neither species fully understood. The war was coming. But maybe, just maybe, love was stronger than war. The enemy ships arrived like thunder in the night. Jake woke to flashing red lights and alarm sounds. Through his window, he could see massive alien warships surrounding their vessel. Each ship was twice the size of their own, bristling with weapons that could turn planets to dust. He ran to the command center where Captain Hayes was talking rapidly into his radio. Other humans rushed around checking weapons and shields that everyone knew would not be enough. How many ships? Jake asked. 12, Captain Hayes said grimly, and they brought their biggest guns. On the main screen, a new alien face appeared. This one was even larger than Zara, with armor covered in golden marks of high rank. His 4 eyes burned with cold anger. I am War General Max, the alien announced. I have come for the corrupted War Prime Zara. Send her to my ship immediately. Corrupted? Captain Hayes stepped forward. What are you talking about? The female has been infected with human weakness. She shows emotions forbidden to warriors. She cries. She loves. She calls herself by soft names. Max's voice filled with disgust. This cannot be allowed. Jake felt his blood turn to ice. They knew about everything, the crying, the kindness, the gentle words. Someone had been watching and reporting back. Zara is stronger now, not weaker, Jake said, moving to stand beside Captain Hayes. Max's burning eyes focused on him. You are the human who poisoned her mind. You will be destroyed along with all evidence of this contamination. The screen went dark. Around them, the enemy ships powered up their weapons. All hands to battle stations, Captain Hayes ordered. Prepare for— Wait. The voice came from behind them. Everyone turned to see Zara entering the command center. But she was not alone. Behind her came 20 alien warriors, all from her original crew. Their armor glowed with the soft colors Jake had learned to love, blues and pinks and gentle greens. I will speak to War General Max, Zara announced. Zara, no, Jake said quickly. If you go to his ship, he'll reprogram you. He'll erase everything you've learned about being gentle. Zara looked down at him with her 4 eyes full of warmth. Sweet Jake, do you think I have learned nothing from you about courage? Before anyone could stop her, she activated the communication system. Max's angry face appeared on screen again. War General Max, Zara said formally. I am War Prime Zara. I challenge your assessment of my fitness for command. Max's eyes widened in surprise. You dare challenge me? In your weakened state? I challenge your understanding of what makes a warrior weak or strong. I request trial by combat to prove my point. The command center went silent. Even the humans knew what this meant. Single combat between alien leaders was a fight to the death. No mercy, no second chances. You would fight me to defend your corruption? Max asked, sounding amazed. I would fight you to defend the truth, Zara replied. That strength and gentleness can exist together. That warriors can love and still be warriors. Max was quiet for a long moment. Then he laughed, a harsh, ugly sound. Very well. But when I defeat you, all evidence of this human infection dies with you. Your corrupted warriors will be reprogrammed. The humans will be destroyed. And if I win? Zara asked. If you win, we will listen to your words about this new way of being warrior. The screen went dark again. Around them, Zara's warriors made worried sounds. Combat with War General Max was nearly impossible to survive. You can't do this, Jake said desperately. He's bigger than you, stronger than you. This is suicide. Zara knelt down so her eyes were level with his. Gently, she placed one massive hand on his shoulder. Dear Jake, you taught me that being brave enough to love is the greatest strength. Now I must be brave enough to fight for that love. But what if you lose? Zara's armor shifted to soft gold, a color Jake had never seen before. Then at least I will die knowing what it feels like to be someone's sweet girl. The combat took place on Max's ship, in a huge arena surrounded by hundreds of alien warriors. Jake and the human team were allowed to watch, but only from behind. Thick, protective glass. Max was a monster in battle. His weapons moved like lightning, his armor was thick as tank plating. He fought like war itself. Brutal, efficient, unstoppable. But Zara fought like something new. She moved with the same deadly skill Jake had always seen. But there was something else now. Something that had not been there before. She fought not just with anger or duty, but with love. Love for her dead sister Maya. Love for her warriors who had learned to be gentle. Love for the human who had called her sweet girl and meant it. Every strike carried the weight of new understanding. Every dodge showed the grace of someone who had learned that protecting others was the highest calling of a warrior. The battle lasted an hour. Both fighters bled green blood onto the metal floor. Both moved slower as exhaustion set in. But Zara had something Max did not have. She had hope. In the end, it was not strength that won the fight. It was love. Max made a final desperate attack, putting all his power into one massive strike. Zara could have dodged. She could have let him crash into the wall and finish him while he was stunned. Instead, she caught his weapon with her own and held it there. The two of them locked together. I do not wish to kill you, War General Max, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the arena. You fight for what you believe is right. That deserves respect. Max stared at her in amazement. Here was his enemy, offering mercy when she could have claimed victory. You spare me? He asked. I spare you because ending your life would teach nothing, Zara replied. But perhaps showing you mercy will teach everything. She stepped back, lowering her weapon. Around the arena, hundreds of alien warriors watched in stunned silence. Max stood there for a long moment, his armor cycling through colors of confusion and wonder. Finally, he spoke. You call this strength? I call this love, Zara said. And love is the strongest force in the universe. Max looked around at his warriors, then at Zara's gentle-colored troops, then at the humans watching from behind their glass wall. Perhaps, he said slowly, we have been wrong about what makes a warrior. Later, as the two fleets worked together to establish new agreements, Jake found Zara in the garden again. She was sitting among the earth flowers, her armor glowing soft, pink in the starlight. How does it feel to start a revolution? Jake asked, sitting beside her. Like being the sweetest girl in the galaxy, Zara replied, making that musical purring sound that now filled ships of both species. And somewhere among the stars, love proved once again that it was stronger than war.